Hey everybody, this is Andy Hall. You are watching The Best Advice Ever, the show where awesome people come on and talk about the best advice they ever got. Today, a special treat, Godless Engineer. He's a YouTuber, 47,000 subscribers, I think, something
Currently
like that.
right now, yeah. Currently
Right.
right now, 47,000.
You do a whole bunch of videos about Jesus mythicism. I believe you're in the camp of Jesus. Yeah, you do some science videos, you do some politics, you do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I've got several, I guess, verticals that I run. And one of those being mythicism, but I also do just general atheist activism type stuff, as well as advocating for evolution and just advocating for good science in general.
Are you saying that we live in a world that we may need good science?
When my own state representative, or I can't remember if he's a senator or a representative, Mo Brooks, when he said, "Oh, the oceans are rising because dirt's falling in the water," yes, we definitely need good science communicators out there.
Whenever someone says something so insipid, I always want to ask follow-up questions. Where's this dirt coming from, sir? Is it like space dirt?
Oh, no. It's dirt from the shorelines.
Oh. Well, that makes sense then.
Because when you put things in glasses of water, the water rises, and so that's what's causing the water to rise, is erosion of our coastlines.
That is so profound. So by his reasoning, at some point, the entire planet is just going to be flat.
I guess, or maybe just the North American continent's going to go away, and we're going to have some kind of like deformed, like, weird looking child of what we once were or something. I'm not sure.
Right. I was watching one of your videos a little while ago talking about Donald Trump being the best Christian ever, or best Christian president ever. Very profound stuff, sir.
Oh yeah. So that woman is, I don't know how people find like her videos and stuff, but apparently that woman, Lori something, I want to say her name is, she seems to think that Trump is akin to King David and is also the best Christian ever. And I don't know why she thinks that, because he's obviously not the best Christian ever, but she wants to paint him in that light.
Right. She did compare him because he is just like the other king, King David.
That's spot on there, Lori, I guess. I mean, I guess it's because Trump didn't send Stormy Daniels' husband to the front lines and get him killed, that maybe he's better.
That's Old Testament stuff right there, my friend.
Oh crap, I forgot. Yeah, we're talking just strictly New Testament stuff.
The better of the two, the new and improved.
Yeah.
So what's your posting schedule like on your YouTube channel?
I usually try to do 5 times a week. I have different videos that generally go up on right now. Mondays and Wednesdays are kind of my edited videos that I put together. Like, I'll find a video and I'll like write up a rebuttal to it, or something of that nature, and I'll edit it together and I'll get it put up. Tuesdays are my Bible study days and our Skeptic Mafia podcast days. And then on Thursdays, if I can, I'll try to edit up like a previous live stream and highlight it on the channel to try to, remind people of the content. But also, as you gain subscribers, people aren't going to go back and watch all of the live streams I did, because I was doing like 2 live streams a week for most of 2018. So that's like a lot of live stream content. It's a lot of like regular content. So, reposting like that just helps get more eyes on the actual content that I produced.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have to ask you, let's say that we're both in an elevator and for some reason the idea about Jesus is a myth comes up. How would you tell me, or what would be your assertion or your proofs, within a short period of time that Jesus did?
So basically, what's the elevator pitch for Jesus mythicism?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I would probably start off by talking about how little evidence that we have for Jesus, because what we actually have as far as credible evidence for him is the writings of Paul. Those writings only really attest to a celestial Jesus. There are a few ambiguous verses in it, but those can't really be used to establish Jesus on earth. They also don't help out the mythicist argument for saying that he was a celestial person or a celestial being. But the rest of Paul's content actually suggests that because Paul in Galatians 1:11 actually says that he did not get his information from any person here on earth, that he only gets it from the risen Jesus. And that would have been a celestial Jesus. He also states in other areas of his work where he gets his information from Scripture. And this is how all apostles got their information. Paul also never states that disciples are a thing. He never uses the word. He never indicates anybody actually saw Jesus walking around. The only way that you can get that Paul interacted with disciples is if you introduce later ideas into Paul's writings, being the Gospels, which the Gospels were written at least 40 years after Jesus would have died. And the Gospels, the earliest Gospel, Mark, definitely uses Paul's work in order to generate his ideas. And so there's very little evidence to suggest that Jesus was an actual person. And the first person that ever wrote about Jesus at all never mentions his ministry, never mentions anything that happens in the Gospels, never even places Jesus on earth, at least unambiguously. So that would be my elevator pitch, is the fact that our earliest evidence doesn't suggest that he actually did walk on earth.
It's fascinating that most people don't know that Paul never met Jesus.
Yeah, because a lot of times people will say that either Paul met Jesus or that he met disciples or eyewitnesses of Jesus. And Paul never actually says this. You can't find a verse anywhere in Paul's writings where he says that these people actually witness a earthly Jesus. It's always apostles, and the only way that you become an apostle is by getting a vision of Jesus or by getting revelation through Scripture.
Sure. That's great. I think that was a great elevator pitch for mythicism right there.
Well, I hope so. I was pretty on the spot, but I know the subject really well.
So let's talk about the best advice you ever got.
The best advice I ever got. Let's see. The best advice I ever got was, I can't remember who first told me this, but as far as like my YouTube content goes and looking to do, I guess, anything really, is to not be afraid of making mistakes. You're always going to make mistakes. The hardest thing to do is to just start doing whatever particular thing you want to do. For me, it was, making YouTube videos or doing things on as far as atheist activism goes. It's all just about actually doing the thing that you want to do. And it doesn't matter if the first thing that you do, whatever that might be, is bad or you make mistakes while you do it. The fact that you do it and then you learn from it and you become better, that is the key to actually, becoming better at something, or to increase your proficiency at something. If you go back through my channel and you look at my earlier videos, completely different than I am now. I've watched my earlier videos and I cringe watching them because I'm like, I don't know why anybody watched me like at all. I had no on-screen presence. I had no real structure to my videos other than it was just an atheist ranting about things on a video. And but that's okay, because the fact is that I just, sat down, I recorded it, I produced what I thought that I wanted to produce, and then I learned how to make it better. And as long as you continue learning and you learn from your mistakes, there's never going to be like a bit of bad content that wasn't worth making.
How long did it take you to get from not so good to good?
Oh man. I mean, I'm still working on it. Some people would say that I'm still bad. It was probably going, I didn't really start actually doing a lot of like YouTube content, like serious YouTube content, until about the I would say middle of 2015. So I mean, that's been over 4 years. Like I said, it really depends on who you ask as to whether or not I'm good now, but I would say that entire time, the past 4 years, I've been slowly working on, how to do things better, how to make things better, and how should I change my approach to make it better for people, and things like that. And I changed things slowly over time, and sometimes it took me a little while to really understand what I needed to change or how I needed to change in order to produce the content and reach the audience that I really wanted. So I would say that I'm still learning. I'm still trying to do better, and I'm changing things up, on occasion to see if they work better. And but the entire time, I've always been trying to do better and to get better.
Did you have people around you to give you feedback about what they thought you were doing right and what they thought you were doing wrong?
Oh yeah, I definitely did. I've always bounced my ideas off of like Casey, my wife. She's always a great source of like constructive feedback. Even if I don't take it so great at times, she still gives it to me when I ask for it, and I appreciate that a lot. And so I've always had somebody that would give me a no bullshit, kind of answer to what I wanted to know.
What would you say was the big thing for you to establish on air personality, charisma, however you want to define it?
I guess it would be just knowing what I wanted to say and being able to articulate it in a way that people could understand. Because there have been some videos where I haven't done that so great and people have been confused, and you could tell by the comments. And so there have been a lot of videos where I've just sort of pulled shit out of my ass, and they weren't as good as they could have been. I could have made them a lot better. And so like that's one of the minor changes that I've made, is that I've started not so much scripting up like my live shows, but I will take extensive notes, or I will have like written up responses to certain sections, so that I can really provide the best information to the audience. And so
Sure. That makes sense, because when you feel comfortable with the material, it's easier for you to talk about it on screen or in front of the camera.
Yes. When you know the material front and back, that really helps, because then you don't really have to rely on a script. You just have to know what points you want to mention and what points you want to hit, and then the rest of it can flow easily. You just got to know your key points that you want to bring up, and then you just flow seamlessly from point to point.
Right. I want to get back to the idea of fear blocking a lot of people from starting projects. Have you seen that in your own personal life, people around you?
Yeah. I mean, I hear about other creators in the community wanting to do stuff, but wanting to get things perfect, for their first time, and I always hear about people that have plans to start up and then they just never start. And so that's why my my go-to like suggestion for anybody starting any kind of project is to just start doing it. And I've kind of I don't know when I heard that, but I've always kind of taken that approach with things, because before I started, doing YouTube videos and stuff like that, I was trying to write my own code because I'm a software engineer. So like I was trying to learn how to do OpenGL. I was trying to learn how to, write complex graphics programs. And I was trying to do all of those things. And I just knew that I had to just sit down and start doing it. And so that's what I did.
Very good. Very good. Now, besides, of course, this talking about it right now, have you given that advice to other people?
Yeah, I have. There have been a few people that have asked me, like, what can I do better with my content, or I'm about to start doing content. What can I do? Not really so much with software engineering, but it's mainly been with the YouTube crowd. But yeah, plenty of people have asked me, and that's one of the things that I tell them right off the bat is don't expect to be perfect. Don't try to be perfect. Just do it and then learn from your mistakes.
And a lot of things can be done in editing too.
Yeah, well, some things can be done at editing. A lot of times, if you like voice stuff though, and when you're on camera versus like having an avatar, like all that kind of plays into it. So some things can be done in edits, but you quickly learn that there are other things that you should really do while you're on camera.
Right. I imagine. What do you think is the common mistake for first time YouTube, or people just starting YouTube?
Well, I think the most common mistake would be to assume that you're gonna be an instant sensation like right out the gate. People also get very disheartened by like a low view count. They'll they won't get many views, and that will make them think that maybe they shouldn't be doing YouTube videos. But you see, the problem is that and I recently went back through my entire catalog. I really didn't start getting the kind of views that I have now until like 3 or 4 years into doing YouTube stuff. So it takes a while.
That's a lot. That's a long time. So those are a lot of videos that you've made. That basically you were just shouting into the internet void.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, like I said, it's all about refining what you're doing and trying to do better. And the problem with me was that like I wasn't looking at like YouTube advice channels, because you have a lot of channels out there that are there for you to teach you how to program your channel, and they give good general advice. And as soon as you start listening to them and employing a lot of the advice that they have, you'll start to see an uptick in how many viewers, how many subscribers you have. So I really wasn't doing that part of it. As soon as I started looking at that and I started taking their advice and really applying it to the channel, that's when I started to see a big increase in my YouTube channel and a big increase in audience in general.
What I found it interesting, and I've had this conversation hundreds of times at this point with people who are creative. They're either writers or illustrators. There are two different skill sets. It's actually being able to do your art and execute on your art, and then there's the business aspect of being able to get your message out, getting your art out, spreading the word, getting people to know you. And unfortunately, you're either good at one, really good at one, or really good at the other. And the trick is trying to become competent in both.
Yeah, I honestly haven't figured out the business end as far as like monetizing things. Because right now, as far as like getting my videos out there, like I do several things. I will like cut up small clips to put on Twitter and Facebook, and then I direct people to the YouTube channel. And of course, there's the tweeting. One trick that I have found that really works is when you're on Twitter, you have your initial tweet where you put out your video, but then like come back later that day or maybe the next day, and then you just retweet your own tweet. And that gets it back into the feed of people that follow you or, other people that might be looking for your kind of content. So it doesn't hurt to retweet your own tweet.
I think we just hit on a whole ton of good advice. That's what I think. And of course, the most important one is go out and do. Go out and creating or start out and doing the thing you want to do and not to let fear hold you back.
Right. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, dude. So where can people find you online?
Well, there are several places. So I'm on pretty much every social media that's out there. Facebook is where I'm the biggest at. I've got over 100,000 followers there. On YouTube, you can find me at Godless Engineer. Instagram, Godless Engineer. I post there on occasion whenever I feel like making a meme or something. And then there's Twitter, Godless Engineer. I've got my own website that I rarely ever post to, godlessengineering.com, if you want to go there and check that out. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, this is a great conversation. Thanks a lot, Godless Engineer, for coming on Best Advice Ever.
Oh, no, thank you for having me on. I'm glad that we could talk. I love talking about this subject, giving advice and, talking about my own experiences. So I really appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, man.